You're paying extra for that golden wrapper and getting less butter than you think. Today, we're exposing the yellow deception, why grade AA on salted butter doesn't always mean quality, and how farm fresh can be slapped on something built in a steel tank. Stay with me. I'll show you the 3 red flags on the label: moisture creep, color tricks, and vague sourcing. That's signal corner cutting. Then we'll test them side by side, and I'll share the one salted butter that's actually worth your money. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Let's start with the shiny badge that gets you to toss a box in your cart. Grade AA. You see it and think top shelf. The truth is, that stamp rates flavor, body, color, and how the salt feels on your tongue. It does not rate how much actual fat you're buying past the legal floor, where the milk came from, or what the factory did to the cream. It's a beauty score, not a richness score. Here's the real kicker. The legal line for butterfat is fixed. Brands can cruise right along that edge, push moisture right up to the limit, and still walk away with that AA on the carton. Your stick can taste fine in a bite test and still cook weak in a pan because water is doing more work than cream. Think of it like a car with a mirror shine and a small engine. The paint looks flawless. The chrome pops. But when you hit the gas, not much happens. Grade AA tells you the shine is polished. It doesn't tell you what's under the hood. Those grading sheets are built to check clean dairy notes, a smooth, even body, a uniform yellow, and salt that doesn't bite. They score defects and dock points for off flavors or weird texture. What they don't track is how close that butter sits to the moisture ceiling. When a recipe leans on water instead of fat, you feel it where it counts. In a skillet, in dough, in sauces that split early. Push moisture, and you dilute flavor and drop performance. Let's do a quick label read. 2 boxes, both AA. The first lists a higher fat number per serving. The second sits at the bare minimum. On the shelf, they look identical. In your kitchen, the lower fat stick softens fast, spreads a little slick, and vanishes quicker when it hits heat. Same badge, different results. Why it happens comes down to process. Industrial churns run hard and fast. Then the butter hits rapid chill. That combo can trap microbubbles and tiny pockets of water. At first, it feels airy and spreadable. But in a hot pan, that trapped water flashes to steam, and the butter thins out instead of browning steady. And yes, some budget lines know the badge sells. So they pair leaner body with color tricks and cozy words like farm fresh to give you the vibe of cream-rich butter without paying for it. The box wears a barn. The stick wears a glow. Your sauté wears a wet hiss. So what is the takeaway? Grade AA isn't a guarantee of richness. It's a cosmetic score that lets leaner formulas slip by as long as they taste clean and look the part. Now let's move on to how that yellow glow gets you to pay more for less. Because when color stays loud all year, the cow isn't the one doing the work. Now let's move on to the yellow glow, because that shine on the shelf is doing more work than you think. Some sticks look suntanned in January. That isn't seasonal magic. Cows don't switch to summer inside a plant. Let's start with what color should do. When cows graze on pasture in spring and summer, the cream picks up beta-carotene from fresh grass. That can push butter deeper gold. In winter, or on grain-heavy feed, the milk runs paler. Real butter color drifts with the diet and the season. It wobbles. It doesn't hit the same loud note every month. But here's the kicker. When a brand shows you bright, uniform yellow all year, that's a factory choice. Color is often boosted with annatto or beta-carotene to mimic grass-fed depth. It's cheap, legal, and effective. Your eye sees rich. Your brain fills in premium. The stick just put on makeup. You can test this in your kitchen. Take a cold stick and scrape a thin layer off the face. Look at the fresh cut. If the outside and inside match the exact canary tone, end to end, that kind of perfect match is probably additive-driven, not pasture-driven. Real pasture color tends to be uneven, softer at the core, or at least a little varied across the stick. The label usually admits it quietly. Scan the ingredients. You're looking for color added, annatto, or beta-carotene. They often sit at the end of the list after salt. No need for a microscope. If it says color, it's colored. Simple. Now scan the front of the box. Barns, fences, rolling fields. Then flip it over and read the sourcing language. If all you get is a line like "from cows in the USA" with no region, no cream source, no co-op or farm details, that's stage dressing. The scenery says pasture. The legal line says, "Trust us." Why does this matter? Because color cues your brain to expect a fuller dairy note and a longer finish. You'll pay a markup for what looks like grass-rich cream. The cost to the maker is cents. The cost to you is real. And when color props up a thinner stick, you notice it in the pan more than on toast. A pattern to watch, a few budget line stack tricks. They punch up the hue and ride the moisture ceiling. The result looks lush in the wrapper and spreads easy for a week, but melts thin under heat. 2 cheap levers, 1 shiny story. So here's the mini payoff. If the ingredients say color added, while the box shouts farm fresh, you probably bought a costume, not a cow's best. The butter is dressed for a part it didn't earn. Let's start with the red flags that prove when water is doing more work than cream. If your butter snaps and spits the second it hits the pan, that isn't rich. That's water doing overtime. The truth is, there's a legal ceiling on how much moisture butter can carry, and factories know how to steer right under it. They tune water to shave cost while staying inside the rules. You get the same box size, the same badge, and a stick that cooks thin. Let's start with why salted butter hides it better. Salt sharpens flavor and bumps aroma, so a wetter formula still tastes buttery in a quick bite. Unsalted exposes flaws fast. Salted gives cover. That's why watered sticks often wear salt. The punch masks the lean body underneath. How do they fit more water in a stick that still feels firm? Industrial churning runs at tight speeds and times. Then the butter goes into rapid chilling and hard mechanical working. That process traps micro-water and tiny air. It spreads smooth for a week and slices clean, but as soon as it warms or hits heat, that trapped moisture escapes, and the fat film left behind is thin. Browning stalls. Foam goes wide and weak. Here's how you can read it before you buy. Flip to the nutrition panel. Serving sizes are the same across most sticks, but the fat grams tell a story. When 2 salted butters both show the same calories, yet one lists less fat per serving, that gap is often moisture strategy. They didn't find lighter fat. They used more water. It's a quiet trade that shows up in your skillet. You'll feel it. A good pat lands with a soft sizzle and turns nutty and brown at a steady clip. A watered stick hisses, throws steam, then sputters. You wait, and the color lags. Toss flour for a quick pan sauce, and it breaks early. Try to brown cutlets, and they go gray before they go gold. Same stove, different stick. Scan the ingredient line, and you see the rest of the costume. Natural flavor shows up to fake fuller dairy notes. Color added props up that fixed yellow we just talked about. These 2 pair neatly with higher moisture because they patch the holes that water cuts in taste and look. Cream, salt, that's all you want. Anything extra is doing theater. You might want to time your own pan test. Equal pats, same heat. Start the timer and listen. Aggressive popping signals, trapped moisture flashing to steam. Quiet, steady sizzle means fat is doing the work. You'll see the foam settle tight and brown with the better stick. So here's the mini payoff. Moisture creep is legal, but it steals flavor and performance. You pay butter prices for watered results and a louder label. Now let us move on to the budget brands whose labels wave those flags. Some labels do the talking for you, if you know which 3 words to spot in 5 seconds. Let's start with the flags that jump off the box when you train your eye. First, color added, or a named dye like annatto or beta-carotene. Second, pastoral packaging with vague sourcing, barns, fences, and lines like "from cows in the USA" or "farm style," but nothing that tells you where the cream came from. Third, a lower fat number per serving that tells you water is padding the stick. Here's the real kicker. A lot of budget lines hit 2 or all 3 while shouting "Grade AA" in bold type. The badge wins the glance. The fine print tells the truth. You just need to read it like a receipt. Do a quick mock shelf scan. Brand A, color added, right on the ingredient line, plus farm style across the front, but not a single farm named, just a corporate address. The look is cozy, the data is thin. Brand B, the AA seal front and center, yet the panel shows 10 grams of fat per serving. Same calories as the next stick, less fat means more water. Brand C, from local dairies, bright uniform yellow, but when you flip it, the only location listed is a headquarters. Local to whom? The truck? You don't need a lab to see the savings. Serving sizes are standard, so fat grams carry the story. If 2 boxes both read the same calories and one lists less fat, that gap isn't lighter butter. It is often moisture. Ingredient order helps too. Cream first is normal. Salt next. Anything after, especially natural flavor or color, usually props up thin body and staged hue. Back at home, the pan tells you if the label lied. Cut equal pats. Same pan, same heat. Start a timer. Listen. An honest stick gives you a steady, quiet sizzle and builds a tight foam that turns brown at a calm pace. A flagged stick pops hard, throws steam, and stalls before it picks up color. Toss flour right after and watch the sauce. If it breaks early or looks greasy fast, water did the work, not fat. Promos muddy the water. You see a bright sale tag and think deal. But price anchoring trains you to judge by the discount, not the contents. A weekly promo can make a watered, dyed stick feel like value while it costs you twice at the stove. First in lost flavor, then in extra butter to hit the same browning. You might want to hear this part. There is one salted butter that keeps skipping these traps and wins in the pan week after week. Here's your mini payoff. If a stick hits 2 of those 3 flags, pass. Your money can do better. Time for the solve, the one salted butter that earns its keep. You don't need a boutique label to get real butter. You need clean labels and honest fat. That's the win here. Let's start with the criteria that actually matter. No color added anywhere on the ingredient line. Sourcing language that isn't staged. Clear region, or at least not pretending a skyline equals a pasture. A higher fat number per serving than the budget sticks. And in the pan, steady browning without a hissy fit. The real kicker is a lot of premium lines still play dress up. They crank the yellow, toss in a farm word, and charge you for the story. You're not paying for craft. You're paying for copy. The Better Buy spins on cream, not ink. Here's the test that settles it. Cut equal weight pats. Same pan, same burner setting, same start temp. Watch the clock to first signs of browning. Note the foam. Does it sit tight and fine or go wide and loose? Smell for a deeper, nutty aroma. Then whisk in a splash of water or stock. The stronger butter pulls it into a smooth sauce fast. The thin one looks greasy or breaks early. Do it once and you'll feel the gap. Price plays a role, but not the one the tag wants you to think. A slight bump often buys you lower moisture and richer dairy solids. That means more flavor per dollar and fewer repeats of add another pat to get color. You use less to get the same job done. That's actual value, not shelf theater. Storage still matters. Even a great stick turns dull if it picks up fridge smells or takes on air. Keep it cold, wrapped tight, and away from onions and last night's takeout. With salt, simple wins. You want cream and salt, not natural flavor trying to impersonate cream. If you see that extra line, it's there to patch a thin stick. So what should you grab without chasing a logo? Pick a salted butter with no added color, a fatter fat per serving read than the cheap crowd, and ingredients that stop at cream and salt. If the panel says more fat in the same serving, you're buying cream, not water. Here's a budget move that works. When your store runs a sale on its European style or high-fat house brand, stock up. Wrap half sticks in parchment or plastic, then freeze them. They thaw clean, hold flavor, and save you from paying full freight for a weaker stick later. Mini payoff. This pick browns cleaner, tastes fuller, and goes farther in real cooking. Cutlets take color faster. Veggies glaze without a steam bath. Sauces come together smooth, no greasy ring. If this gave you something to chew on, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone who buys butter by the brick. The yellow glow and the AA badge are masks. What you taste and what cooks clean is fat, not dye, not a staged label. So check 3 things before you buy. No color added on the ingredient line. Sourcing that isn't vague theater. Higher fat per serving than the bargain sticks. Your pan runs quieter, browns faster, and your sauce holds.